Hi everyone, this is Kim, aka Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, and I am back here today on the 12th of August 2019 with Flosstube number 29. Let's talk about what I worked on this week. I hope everyone is doing well. This week in the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, Professor Umbridge was in charge as the headmistress because our headmistresses had to go to the Ministry of Magic. So we had to put in 1,000 stitches on a piece that we wanted to quit, or that made us want to quit. And for that, I worked on the last whip I always pull up, which is Macintosh Mill by Dimensions. This is a Charles Wysocki art converted into cross stitch. And I did the easy way. I only worked with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors for 1,000 stitches. Some of these were half stitch because the blue sky and the clouds on this piece are half stitch. So I had to do a bit more since those only count as half. So there's where I am. I worked up here in this corner. So I filled in the rest of the black roof, minus the little gable that sticks out. I did all the sky. There are some white clouds in there that are hard to see, and brought the border over. There's another tower that interrupts that border and brought it down. So that is the equivalent of 1,000 stitches. I got this done in 2 days, trying to knock it out. For By the Numbers 1200 in Full Coverage Fanatics for August, I want to work on Sunday Delight by Randall Spengler, but if I don't get to that piece, if I don't have enough time, I've already got 1,000 into this piece. It does count as full coverage, so then all I have to do is go back to it and do 200 more. So I'm going to keep that in my hip pocket as potential way to get my By the Numbers 1200 done this month on that one. I finally got around to starting my Santa sampler by Cooler Design Studio. This was my Christmas piece for the extra credit. This is out of the 555 Christmas Cross Stitch Designs by Donna Cooler book. You can also find it on 123 Stitch or on the Cooler Design Studio website as a PDF. Let's see if I can get it without glare. So it's a really cool Santa sampler, all kinds of Santas in there. And I started right here in the top middle with this center Santa. Sorry, I'm just hitting all kinds of things. I started right here and moved down, so I did 500 on him. And of course I have a Santa needle minder. This is on 28 count Lugana in gingerbread by Picture This Plus. So I have not started back stitching them yet, but you can clearly see that's going to be Santa. And I started because that center section is a bit of a full coverage piece, so we'll get that center bit done and then work out from there and then down. So he was a lot of fun. Can't wait to get back to him. And so I finished him up. Let's see, I didn't stitch on anything but Camelot on Monday, on filming day, just because with the girls still around, not in school yet, and uploading the video, I only had enough time to do my my daily stitches on Camelot. So Tuesday and Wednesday were Macintosh Mill for homework. Thursday, I got this done in less than a day. I still had time left. After dinner, the girls were playing outside with friends. I didn't know what to do with myself, so I started looking at 2020. And I was looking at my whip list, saying, okay, I'm going to get Camelot done this year. I'm going to get Guardian Angel by Lavender and Lace done this year. what is that going to make my whip list look like for the start of 2020? Because my whip list is in order of start date. It's not alphabetical. So it's in order of start date. Camelot is my oldest piece that was started in February 2014. And after that, everything is a 2017 or later start date. I've said it before, but 2017 was my start all the full coverage pieces. So as I counted and I took out Camelot and I took out Guardian Angel, which was the 2017 start, I looked at what was left. And the first 8 pieces on my whip list are all full coverage. All started between 1 January 2017 and 2018. With one exception. One thing that's kind of in parentheses, kind of there, kind of not. And that's because it's semi-UFO. Not sure if I'm going to give it up or not. And so this was Thursday night. I had time to think about things. And I apologize if you can hear my girls. They're playing in the house because it's a little cloudy, rainy day today. But I was looking at the semi-UFO and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be able to say my first 8 whips are full coverage without having the exception, oh, there's a semi-UFO in there. Let's just get it done, knock it out, and that way, even if I don't do anything with it, if I don't fully finish it, whatever, it's done. I got through it. I'm more than halfway through it now. Let's get it done. So that is the class schedule sal by Armada Designs. That was 2018 stitch along, mystery stitch along. A lot of people modified their own blocks on this stitch along, including myself. I've modified almost every single block, but then about May, June time frame, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this piece. As I was looking at it Thursday, I realized, you know what? This block I definitely don't like. That I did, one of the blocks that I changed, I don't like. So let me see how I can switch it. And that was the Charms block for May. All I had done was I had listed in a backstitch, all typography in the block, 5 different charms, and just backstitch their names, like Expelliarmus, Lumos plus Nox, Stupefy, Obliviate. I don't know, there was one more. Oh, Aloha Mora was on there too. So I didn't like it. So Thursday night I was playing around on my my software and I just figured out what to stitch instead, taking what was designed there and altering it a bit. It used to be a dancing pineapple. Well, I made it a floating feather for Wingardium Leviosa. Because that's what the scene is in the movie, and I don't remember exactly what. It was a feather in the books, wasn't it? It wasn't a pineapple. So I did that. So Friday, which happened to be World Cross Stitch Day, I took everything out of the Charms block. I stitched up my new Charms block, and I started on Muggle Studies, which is the block below it. And then Vicky announced this week's homework early, and I'm like, okay, this is a little challenging, but you know what? I'm going to stop stitching on my Hogwarts class schedule sal right now because this is the easiest way to get that homework done because it's so in-depth, is to stitch as much as I can on this piece and try to get it done and then see if I need to add anything more, if it gets through all 10 classes or not. So first let me show you the design. This is on 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself. So we'll get up close. Transfiguration. I changed that. I put in my own version of Professor McGonagall. I changed up the cup and the books a bit, and I added Vera Verto because that is the incantation to do Transfiguration. For potions, I did this completely on my own, just made some really simple potions bottles and a quote from Professor Snape. For herbology, someone had something very similar, but I changed their colors. They made the framework of the greenhouse the same color as the block, and I didn't like that. I wanted to make it more this actual color of what the greenhouse would be, and I changed it a little bit, made it fit. Let's see, study of ancient runes is as charted except for the colors. I changed that. Charms, you can see there's my table with the feather floating, a wand with the swish and flick movements to show you how to do Wingardium Leviosa. History of Magic, I made the title look like a chalkboard, and this was someone else kind of took the Clouds Factory, Professor Binns, and so I saw that on their design. I liked it, I used it, and then I added his quote that he deals with facts, not myths and legends. Astronomy is as charted. Muggle Studies I'm going to do as charted, so I've got two more. I've got a rubber ducky and a flashlight to put in there, and then the last 4 blocks. I've got a block and a bit of border to do, and then the blocks. I don't know if they're in the right order, but divination, defense against the dark arts, cure magical creatures, and arithmancy. I think arithmancy's here, and then the bottom 3 are divination, defense against the dark arts, and cure magical creatures. So for this week's homework in the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, it's our week to take our owls. You can choose whether to do 100 per task for an exceeds expectations, or 200 stitches per task to get an outstanding owl in each class. You have to do the 7 core classes first, and then pick 3 out of the 5 electives. Well, this has all 12 possibilities. So what I'm going to do, I was trying to plan, be like, I don't know how many stitches I have left to put into it. For one, I haven't decided what I'm going to put in the bottom 3 blocks yet. I know what Muggle Studies is going to be. I have my arithmancy block planned out, but I haven't decided on the bottom 3 how I'm going to change them from the charted design. So I was writing down on paper, like, okay, here are my whips that I can use for all these different classes, depending on how many classes I can get through just using this piece, because I really don't have to think up an explanation because it has all the classes on there. Well, that was driving me nuts. So this weekend, I was like, I gotta know. I can't plan for contingencies. I gotta know how many classes I can get through using this piece if I'm gonna finish it before I finish my class, my owls. So I counted what I had left that I knew. I counted the rest of the Muggle Studies with the flashlight and the rubber ducky. I counted what I have planned to go in arithmancy. Now that border's already done. I didn't even count the stitches for the arithmancy title. Just the objects that I'm putting into it. So there's 2 more in Muggle Studies, 2 in arithmancy, and I knew that I had at least 1 full border left for that last block. So I counted all that, and I was already over 1,500 stitches. Now, if you do the math, you do 200 to get an outstanding per class, 200, 10 classes, that's 2,000 stitches. And I was already at 1,500, and I hadn't counted class titles or what I was going to put in those bottom 3 blocks. So I know for a fact I will get all 10 classes done with this piece and not even finish it yet. I'm still going to have plenty of work to put into it to get it done. But this is now a finish goal for this year. I'm going to get this done so that when I do start 2020, my first 8 whips will be full coverage. Those are not my only full coverage whips, but the first 8 on my list will be full coverage. And we'll talk about that more, a few months down the road. I'll have my visual aid because I like people to be able to see things. So I will be working on this week, and we'll see how far 2,000 stitches actually gets me and how much, and I'll try to figure out what I'm going to do in those bottom 3 blocks as well. Okay, so that was Friday. Saturday was a busy day just with life in general, so I only got to work on Camelot. And yesterday, I decided I need to knock out my last extra credit task, which is grop stitch 500 stitches on your largest whip. And my Supersize is definitely my largest. These are my altered dimensions, 947 by 672, because I'm cutting out that big border. So again, I'm down here in Dinosaur Corner on the partial page. I had already started the grop task. I just needed to finish it. And again, I'm working on this piece for Woodland Creatures monthly theme in Full Coverage Phonetics, and also I want to get done by the numbers 2400, because 10 stitch, that means I have to do 4,800 stitches. 4,800 on a color expansion is a lot of work, especially when you're dealing with a huge PVC frame. That's a little bit of work to actually handle and maneuver. So I finished the grop task last night. So I've added about 600 stitches since last you saw it last week. Was that last week? Yeah, last week. So doesn't look like much. And it's made me decide that after I finish this partial page, which I'll still have more to do this month after I finish that to reach my by the numbers, I'm going to move up to this page, the full page, because I want to see more of the picture. I'm not going to be able to handle going all the way across, doing all the partial pages when it's only like 26 stitches high. I'm not going to see enough. It's like a tease. It's like, oh, here's a little bit of the picture. Can you quite tell what it is? No, I want to see more of the picture, because I haven't seen anyone stitching this particular version of this chart. I've seen the mini, I've seen the regular, I've seen regular max colors, and I've seen supersize max colors, but I haven't seen supersize color expansion. So I want to see my dinosaurs. So we'll work on this more this week, probably again. And after I finish this page, I'll work up to the next full page and start that for the rest of my by the numbers for this month. I'm currently at 1,400 out of 4,800 that I need on that piece this month. So yeah, I still have a long ways to go on that, and that is why I may go switch my by the numbers 1,200 to Macintosh Mill, because I have that almost completed. Sad, because I really do want to get more progress on Sunday Delight. It would have brought me very close to a page finish, if not a page finish. So we'll see. It's only the 12th. We'll see where I get to. And that brings me to Camelot. Camelot Sampler, my personal 90-day, which has become an 86-day challenge due to travel plans. And last week, so I have the background stitches done. I have the dirt, and I have the gray background behind the royalty and the dais. And I had the gray horse's legs done. So take a good close look at that red horse, or the blue horse, and everything he's got there. He's got like 3 shields and like a little saddle pad. Okay, so the blue fabric and the blue and gold on his neck, and over here the same on the green horse. This is called either barding or is it I keep getting it mixed up with comparison. It's not comparison. Like a you've heard the term like a comparison horse. It's not. I'm not saying it right. We're just gonna call it barding because that makes it easier. That's what they call the colors and the armor that the horse wears. So I know Anne could probably correct me and tell me how I'm getting that wrong. So, you ready? I have only stitched My goal every day since the last video was 200 stitches per night on this piece. That takes me, depending on distractions, about 2 hours. And how many colors and such. So 200 stitches per night, it's not that much. I'm telling you, if you have a whip that you just can't bring yourself to get out, and that's why this piece is my oldest whip. It's not that it's that difficult to stitch, it's that I never had the motivation to pick it up. And that's the hardest part, is actually saying, yep, I'm going to work on it, and picking it up and getting ready to stitch. Well, once you make a goal, like a little bit each day for however many days, and you set a little bite, like 200 stitches a night to get out of it, I'm telling you, it brings you results. Because look at there. That's 200 stitches a night. And I have the horse almost all done. He's missing a tail. I've already stitched on him today. So I finished up his head area and the brown shields. So I have the knight, his main shield, and his saddle area, which is all a different color. And then the blue knight will be done. So now that I've seen what I can accomplish on this piece, on this section, because when I started this 90-day challenge, I wasn't sure if I could get a finish on it in the 90 days because there's so many different sections and I didn't know how much progress I'd get done in each section and how fast. But it's only the 12th of August. I started this a little after August and I'm over halfway done with the first night. So pretty confident to say that I can get this piece done before the end of September. Because I've got the other knight, I've got the lazy daisies in that border, I've got the beads all the way around and a couple beads up in those four corners, and I have to put my initials and the date down towards the bottom, and that's it. I can totally get that done. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get a finish on Camelot in September. Probably, well, we're gonna aim for September and see if August happens, but we're gonna aim for September. Okay, so plans for this week: Hogwarts class schedule for homework, museum shelf for by the numbers, and oh, I forgot to tell you. So after I got done, I forgot what my last School of Magical Stitches task on this, but for the extreme, since I'm done with the ultimate stitching challenge, I've started the extreme, and of course I'm also counting for the outrageous headmistress. So for the extreme on this one, I am redoing all the tasks from the ultimate, but instead of 1,000 you do 2,000 stitches. So this one I'm doing 2,000 stitches towards the 7 Horcruxes, because Excalibur, just like the Sword of Gryffindor, can destroy Horcruxes. And then now that I've finished Grop on Museum Shelf, I'm going to do the 7 lights on Privet Drive that Dumbledore puts out because of this light and that light. I know I could fit a lot more tasks into this, but I remember the Privet Drive was one of the harder ones, so I'm going to get that one out of the way. So those are the ultimate or extreme tests I'm doing on that. Let's see, one announcement in Full Coverage Fanatics. Anne posted a new event that seems to have caused some confusion. We posted it a month in advance, just like we did the Tour de France challenge, but some people just didn't register that part. So in September, the middle weekend of September, the 13th through the 15th, we are doing an Ancient Adventures stitching weekend. So that's when you work on your oldest full coverage whip all weekend and share what progress you can make. So for 3 days, stitch on your oldest full coverage whip. So obviously this is my oldest whip, but it's not my oldest full coverage whip, so it's not going to be the one I work on. My oldest full coverage whip is Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. I started it on 1 January 2017, so that's the one I'm going to work on. So and there's no like minimum stitches you have to do. It's just do what you can on it, share your progress. Let's get those oldest full coverage whips some progress, and we can cheer each other on. So that's what that weekend's about. Again, that's the 13th through the 15th of September. All based on your own time zone. We're not making it difficult where you have to figure out when to start. Let's see, this weekend I was poking around and I was in Hobby Lobby, and I in the scrapbooking aisle, you know, down the aisle from the Tim Holtz, all the scrapbooking accessories, I found these. Let's see if I can get it without glare. You see that? It says metal stickers. Well, hell, that sounds like a pin where the pin's been taken off already. Like, how easy could that be to buy these and make them into needle minders, huh? Now I'm going to open this and I'm going to show you their back so you can see. I thought these were really cool. I had to buy some and try it out. So it's on a piece of acetate. You can see, so if I peel this off, it is immediately sticky. There's not like another layer that you have to peel off. So as soon as you peel it off the acetate, it becomes sticky. But you can easily cover that in a piece of paper or something, and then put on your rare earth magnet to make it into a needle minder. So this was their most adult version. They also had like mermaids and other kid type things. So if you're interested, go check them out. Again, it's the Paper Studio Flea Market Fancy Metal Stickers. So let's see. Was that all I had to talk about? My girls are getting loud in the hallway. You probably heard them a bit. Our high is 62 degrees Fahrenheit today. We've already gone below 50 degrees at night. We've had the heat. It's that awkward stage where right now it's like, okay, do we need the heat or the air conditioning today? Because it's only, look, 60s for the first half of this week, and then it gets back up to 82 degrees at the end of the week. So, but it's much better than the over 100 degrees that some of the other parts of the country are dealing with. So this is the perk to well, you put up with 6 months of snow. Now here's some decent summer weather without sweating yourself to death all summer long. But you guys have a good stitching week. I have one more week with kids. My youngest starts preschool on Monday, so this time next week when I record, I will only have one child. And then the oldest starts school next week, Thursday. Why they always decide to start school in the middle of the week. Let's just kick them all to school on Monday, please. So, all right, guys, have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.